Hello, hello. Man, looks like Streamlabs did some kind of update and it borked me. So give me a moment here. Got to get my webcam back up. Hope everyone's doing well. I know I am certainly doing well. There we go. I had to deactivate and activate the webcam. Magic fixed. All right, today we are going to be continuing on the ViesCraft mod. I did some stuff a little later last night. I was gonna live stream, but I was also pretty tired, so I stayed up maybe 30 minutes and then just went to bed. But I will show what I have done so far. I'm still kind of trudging through the errors that I need to go through. I took this opportunity to redo my configs here. So basically, like what I did is I just kind of normalized the variable names, kind of just trying to make it to where like the configs read a little better. And even though I redid like the bottom section here, I just kind of renamed everything, renamed everything. We're probably going to end up fixing this. The more I think about it with the new design, the more I think that regular coal and stuff is not going to work. My machines will probably rely on the machine pellets, and the machine pellets are probably going to be a crafting recipe to where it will take, some kind of coal or brown coal or something. I will probably take out of 100, like 100 being something like anthracite, since its burn time is the max. And I'll do some conversion where it's like if you use that plus, some kind of temporal dust or a temporal gear or something, you'll get so much of the machine pellets from a single craft. So you'll be able to like mass produce this special kind of fuel. That way, I'm trying to detach the whole, like you're burning fuel like a machine, right? Burning gas in a car. It's going to be more rust related. It's going to have that energy as a reliance. So I got to get it out of my head that there's going to be fire and smoke and, all this other crazy mumbo jumbo. So yeah, basically, and I also made it to where in the configs too, to start controlling whenever I make changes. I'm actually going to put a config file version in now. So I'm going to do a check. And whenever I make a change in the configs, I'll change this one variable, which is called file version. And then it will force everyone else to get rid of their old configs and re-download the configs fresh. And then you can go through and do whatever you need. But it's a nice little step to where it's going to prevent people from saying like, oh, I can't, my configs aren't working. Like I can't damage machines or I can't, whatever the case is. So I'm going to bring that over there. I think the first thing we need to do here, because with errors, we can't run the game. I need to fix these. So I'm going to make this full screen. I am also in the mood for some music. So I'm going to get that going. Let's see, Donkey Kong Country 1, 2, and 3 sound good. Super Mario Brothers 1, 2, and 3 sounds great. And Sonic 1, 2, and 3. You know what? Let's throw in a little Super Mario World. There we go. So let's add these to the VLC Media Players playlist. There we go. Setting the mood. Let's adjust some of these windows. And my streaming setup. It like dominates this other monitor here. Okay, oh, I like that. Oh, good. I made it smaller and it actually looks better, easier to read. Cool. All right, I say let's get started with this. Got a lot to do. First things first, because I changed the machine types because it's no longer just a hauler or flyer. Now it's like kind of two types combined to one. What I'm doing here is I'm just going through and changing things I need to change and removing things that I no longer need. Something like this is going to be a remove for now. And I'm going to put a / to do redo this when basic machines and GUIs are done. There we go. Same thing for this. So this is only flying machines, flying mode variant. I'm not sure what I have this for. I'm not sure what this is actually doing. It's setting a string for the model. Oh, I know what this is. This was a test. I'm going to comment this whole thing out. And I'm going to probably say, like, this is a test. Oh, interesting. Hold on. I noticed my music is all over the place. Media. Let's, I want to clear this playlist. Open file. Because it seems like I'm using VLC player. And it seems like I keep adding things to my playlist, and it's kind of screwing me over a little bit. Playlist, here we go. Oh my god, I have like duplicates and triplicates of things here. Oh man, this is... Hold on, everyone, take 5, take a breather. We are going to clear all of this crap out. Yeah, like, look at all this. Holy crap. Video, audio. There we go. Drop file here. Okay. So if I drop these here, let's randomize. Press play. Okay, so that should be better. That's always annoyed me. I'm like, why is it not working? All right. Okay, it's... Yep, okay, good. It's randomized. Sweet. I'm not sure if everyone else can hear it. It's kind of light for me, so it's not overpowering. Yep, okay, good. All right, okay, so I commented those two things out. This was a test to add additional overlay models for holiday themes. That's what this was. So I made another model with just like Christmas lights or pumpkin lights or whatever. And then I made sure that that model would overlay on top of the model that's already there for the machine. It was a test. It's something I'd like to pursue once I get this like in a good place, because I think it would add some value. Oh Lord, we got a lot of things here. We got a lot. I think I'm gonna just do a copy and paste here. Darter, flying, darter. This will be carrier. This will be flying, carrier. This is hauler. This will be flying, hauler. So basically what I'm changing right now is the there's the title up top when you open a GUI. I am currently changing that title to be more specific. So darter where it's darter, carrier where it's carrier, you know, hauler where it's a hauler. And I've also been backfilling some of the logic as I went through it. I'm putting the underwater logic in there. So, that's good. That's nice. I can get rid of the hauler because that just doesn't exist anymore. Now a hauler is part of something else. Carrier, carrier to carrier, sea to sea. Darter. Sea darter, sea darter. And there's one more thing up top here. I think it's for the hauler specifically. Yep. For this part, I'm going to just comment all of this out right now. I'm going to have to rebuild the storage slots section. Although I don't think I can do that, right? Because now there's a bunch of other things. Because, like, yeah, now this doesn't exist. So maybe that wasn't the best idea. Boop, boop, boop. Instead, let's do this. I will... What am I going to do? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do, that, and I'm going to do that. There we go. That way, just these elements exist. I think that'll be good, right? Because I can do... Oh, actually, that's going to come in conflict with some things. Before it was in an if statement. All right, you know what? Instead of trying to be fancy with it and comment some stuff out, I know what I need. I'm just going to say if this is hauler darter, I'll give it something valid. Or instead of hauler darter, it's going to be... Mess that up. I'll just do flying hauler. And I'm gonna comment that out. All right, I'm gonna undo that comment. Okay, so now let's go through. I need to redo all of this. All of this. How many lines of code is this? Over 1,300 lines of code we're going to have to kind of go through. It's not going to be as bad as it sounds. We are going to pull up a couple of things before we get started. Did not mean to open up Trading View. I meant to open this up. We are going to look at the desktop. And we're going to pull up the menu. So, like I said before, when I was working so hard on this, how it saves time, in this stream, we will see how much time this actually saves, right? Because now we have a couple of things, right? We have what it looks like without a module in there. It could be a circuit module, assembly, whatever the fuck we call it, right? Whatever we call it. And then this is what it's going to look like to some degree, right? Like this section will be the same. It'll have the single item. But, it unlocks all of this stuff over here. This would be the darter. This would be the carrier. You would have those two. And then this would be like what the hauler has available, which isn't really the case anymore. Remember, we had mentioned that both of these, right? The darter, or the carrier and the hauler are going to be different. For storage boxes, well, it's only going to have one. We're going to copy this, paste. Right, so really it's going to be something like this. Whoops. Copy, paste. right? So there's only going to be one item with the carrier. With this, it's going to be just the 4. Since it's also going to have the display factor to it, I don't want to get too crazy, right? Copy, paste. So really, this is what the rough draft is going to look like. Now, I'm not thrilled with the space utilization on this side, but you know what? I think maybe it'll be okay. So we're going to save this. The GUI is going to have to be a multi-part changing GUI, which is why there's going to be so much with it. So we're going to save everything. We'll be using this as a template, but for now I'm going to move it over. We're going to have to do a lot. What I'm going to start with doing is commenting out pretty much everything. I'm going to do a copy from here all the way down. I like to make sure, if I'm overzealous with what I'm deleting or changing, that I have a backup copy of something that is at least working, right? You know, has all the right measurements for, you know, at least the mini boxes, maybe not the overall positioning, but, you know, how things are drawn and how I'm doing the layering and whatnot. So I come down, I'm going to copy all. We are going to make a lot of white space here. I'm going to open up. You know, this is basically like a scratch area here. Get rid of some of those stars, and we're just going to paste, right? So it's going to duplicate everything. Now I just have to go through and anything that... I should probably start from the top down. I got to make sure everything gets commented out correctly. See, so we have our white space. We come down. See, something like this. Let's keep going. Get rid of that. Comment all that out. Comment all of this out. All of this, because we're gonna have to redesign at least the foundation. We're gonna have to redesign. Sounds like it's gonna be a pain in the butt, and it will be. There we go. So now I have a copy of everything before I dinked with it. So we're gonna start back at the top. I have already pretty much solved the problem and figured out what I have to do. So we are gonna use the Ruststones mod as a template. I am going to open up the client here, GUI. We are looking for the temporal infuser. This is a working copy of like what the new GUI in the back end, you know, how that works. I'm going to put this in the other screen, and we are going to go through bit by bit and migrate things over to it. We're not going to be able to completely get rid of everything. There's some things like the heights here. I list it differently because there are multiple like sizes. I have a couple windows that I do. It's going to be more complex. But for the most part, we will be able to get most of it in. I am going to go ahead and do a copy and paste of some things. We're going to clean this up and clean this up. We're going to make sure we're extending what we want to. This is GUI dialog generic. GUI dialog block entity. Actually, some of this we won't be able to do. Okay. Like, we have to get rid of those. We're going to go to draw order. Which is interesting. I thought draw order would have already been in here, but I guess not. I am going to copy a couple more variables that we're going to bring over. The last redraw milliseconds is going to help our FPS by limiting how often we're refreshing, and just having screen position here is going to be a big help. Okay, so for this part here, we have our first method. I think I don't have to really change too much about this. I'm going to format it here. So for base, what are we trying to take in as the base? We have the string dialog title. And then CAPI. Looks like that's all that's needed for this. So we don't even have to pass inventory or anything. That's right, because through the block entity, if we look here, this is my my temporal infuser. I actually have to pass other things because we're extending block entity. So that's why I need like block position and whatnot. But we're building this off of just kind of a blank GUI. Not a blank, but one that's not specific to like a block entity or something else. All right. So first thing, I don't like the fact that my dialogue title is a static string. That kind of irks me a little bit. So we're going to change this. It's going to read the same, but it will be indeed different. We'll say machine dash, instead of driver dialogue, I will say, hey Friskin, how's it going? I'm going to say machine complete primary dialogue. I still don't like that this is a string here and it's not the references, but I'm okay with it, I guess. We're going to have to do a couple checks here that weren't in before. This right here, we're going to have to make sure that there is not a duplicate. Oh, it doesn't contain the definition for duplicate. That's a block entity only thing. Never mind. So we are not going to do that. Bah. What's wrong? What's wrong? Wow, I think a lot of this stuff, this is going to be more of a different build here than I first thought. I'm kind of looking at things here. Again, this smaller box is my my temporal infuser. Next song. Drowning music. There we go. I mean, this right here is my temporal infuser. And I'm doing specific things in here because the temporal infuser is a block entity, including this, which pulls out all the listeners. I don't have to do any of that with this because I'm already saving things as watched attributes, and I'm going to be pulling things up directly from the watched attributes. So this isn't going to be a nice little copy and paste, you know, like I was hoping it would be. But I think in the end we'll get there. I'm going to do a couple of things. I'm going to check to see if we even need this. On inventory slot modified. So I have something here, this setup dialog. I think this setup dialog is the main... It's actually what this is going to change into, compose GUIs. And compose main GUI. So I'm going to rename that method now. So it's going to be this. So we're going to run the task on slot modified. And see, setup temporal infuser dialog is not going to be what we want. We're going to want setup machine primary dialog. Going to minimize some of this, minimize that. I don't think I want pad in here. Yeah, I know it was this. I'm just going to put this as a 0 for now. I may have to redo some calculations, but that'll be fine. I'm redoing this anyways. You know what? That, or what I can do is I'll just create an all new method with what I'm trying to do. And then once I'm done with this, Come on. Paste, paste. There we go. I'll put it back to how it was. I'm going to come up here. We're going to create a new method. And then I'll migrate each piece over and make sure that it's working. So this is going to be a private void setup dialog. Boop, boop. There we go. Gonna create some white space in here. We're gonna paste this new name back in, right? Machine primary dialog. So basically what I'm trying to do is this method's gonna be responsible for every time I put an item in an item slot, I want it to force a redraw of the dialog, you know, that's currently open of the GUI. So when we do things like when we put in a key, it should unlock everything right away. When you put in one of the modules, you don't have to shut out and go back in. It will update to the new GUI. So that's what we're trying to queue up as an action. All right, so I'm going to copy and paste a handful of stuff, and we're going to have to go through it. Oh my god, I'm going to have to copy and paste a lot of stuff here. Hold on. Holy crap. basically, there's going to be a lot of bloat in here. But this will get us most of the way. Let's get rid of the things that are already commented out. This dialog height is going to have to be rewritten for what the variable is in here, which I believe is going to be the main width. Or the maybe the main height we will use. Come on, where is it? Here we go. Alright, so I'm going to put main height here. IsName isWrite does not exist, so I need to take a look at the other screen. Because isWrite does exist here. I can't remember if I made that its own method. I think I did. Where is this? Dialog bounds. All right, yeah, so that was its own method, so I'm going to come right underneath here. I'm going to paste that in. So basically, there are new ways to do this. Now there's enum position flags. So, you know, right bottom, right middle, right top, it's all the positioning flag for it. So that is what we are going to be utilizing going forward. If it's good enough for the main game, it's good enough for us, right? So this part right here, block position, again, I'm copying from a block entity, so we have to keep some things in mind. The first thing is, how are we using something like this before I just delete it out? Looks like it's right down here. When we create the composer, looks like we get a string, plus we're getting to see if the position does not equal null, then we are going to put the block entity position in the string. If not, then it's just going to be a null. So really what this is, it's nothing special. All it would be doing is adding some extra stuff about, like, you know, what the X, Y, and Z is of the block in the menu, you know, up top in the title. I don't care about that. These are all mobile machines. They're not going to be tied to a block position. So we're not gonna do that. What I will do instead is I'm going to delete all of this out. We are going to change this. We're going to say machine complete, right, for the name. We're actually going to come down to here because what I want is I want a generic, like, what the machine is, and then I also want the entity ID with it as well. That's going to help troubleshooting things. And it's actually something that I just fixed. So, hallelujah. I just got to find where I put it here. Composer, no. Right here, right here. Oh, wait, no. I guess that wasn't it. Right in there. Was it in the main? Maybe it was in the main section. No, I guess not. So I'm just putting my own kind of static string in here. I'll do the same thing. Maybe this isn't what I think it is. Maybe it's not the title. Maybe it's the string name for, you know, the whole assembly, right? The whole dialogue. So I could do this. Get rid of this. Does the same thing. All right, so we got rid of all that. We're going to have to go back through this, and I'm going to have to adjust quite a few things. Yeah, so that's what it was, because this is the dialogue title that I was talking about before. So we got a bunch of things we're going to have to look out for. On BG draw, looks like that is a variable or a method. And I will figure out which one it is. Draw delegate with bounds. So what this is going to be the font context. And then it looks like it takes the element bounds. Interesting. So this custom draw, I don't think I need it. Let's look at a couple things here. Yeah, because this right here would be an image for fire. I don't need an image for fire. These if statements here, I don't need these as well, so I'm going to just comment those out. I'm going to comment all of the slots out, because we're not going to put an inventory in here yet. The goal is to trim down the fat and get like our bare minimum in, and then from there we are going to rewrite a lot of this stuff. So I am going to be minimizing all of these methods because we don't need to look at any of them. Next song. Holy crap. So I need to look at on open GUI or on GUI opened. It is an override method, so I'm going to copy and paste some things here because this should be the new setup right there. We're going to delete the duplicates, right? Like, get rid of that. This right here, machine inventory, is going to be the same as inventory. I am going to go ahead and normalize that name for machine inventory. Because obviously, it's going to be the machine inventory, right? I need to... Anywhere where it says machine inventory, let's just make it inventory. Right? Case sensitive. Search and replace. 100 different places we had that. All right, so we're back here, right? So this basically is this line. We can delete that. And then what do we do here? For base inventory slot modified, we do that. Screen position. Get free position. Yep. Occupy position. Is your screen position. So these two things are not needed. I'm not going to delete them out. I'm going to just comment them out for now because I will be coming back to that. I know this is kind of upset here. We will deal with it in a moment. Actually, we may want to deal with it now. So anything that says inventory. Inventory generic, inventory in. Comes this inventory. So that's inventory generic, and that's inventory. Actually, I'm going to undo what I just did. I'm thinking about it. I kind of like the whole machine inventory instead of just inventory. I think that's going to be better. Yeah. And I can't do base for this. That's right. I'm going to have to do this. So the reason why when I copy and paste it is said base is because, again, it's coming from a block entity. It's extending a block entity class file. And in that block entity class file, there is already, that's where inventory is defined. So when you're doing something like this, it's a specific thing, right? Like I'm getting the base inventory. So this is the inventory that's being referenced, right, in the previous class file that we're inheriting from. That's all we're kind of doing here. Ruby Squeakberg, machines. In my vintage story, gasp. You know it. You know it. Yeah. We are making machines. Well, there already was machines. We're just making them better. We're making them better. What I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this out because we no longer need that. We need to now look at slot modified. This would be on inventory slot modified. And that's right, this isn't going to be needed, so we're going to comment this out as well. I might as well just do that. Which, of course, is going to fix that problem. A lot of little things to adjust. But yeah, machines, they've always been there in our hearts, Ruby Squeakbird. They've always been there in our hearts. And in the form of my old mod. We're just making things look better, move better, function better, have more purpose, not be as restrictive, faster. Coca-Cola. It's delicious. All right, I got to look up a couple more things here. First of all, screen position. I need to look up specifically what screen position even means in this context. How we are defining screen position. Okay, I see how we are defining screen position. I don't think we're going to use this. I think I may end up commenting this out. Going to just verify. Verify my other screen. Okay, so enum flag screen position. This is basically what it is here. Screen position's a method that's taking in a string code. Looks like that string code is going to be small block GUI. And it uses another method, which is actually right underneath here, to take a look at the dialog box that's already... So this is like a pre-built cookie cutter kind of box. We don't need this at all. So I am going to comment this out. Which means occupy position is also not needed. So really, in the end, we're kind of left with what we already had, which I'm cool with. Let's kind of scroll back to the top here. We got to fix the few problems that we have. And then I think we're going to be good enough to at least start to see if we get a crash or if we get just a blank box. I have to comment this out because that would have caused a crash. I'm not sure what else is needed here. So this, I'm going to comment this out because that's going to cause a crash. And there should be one more thing here. Where is it? Towards the bottom? Yes, this section. We're going to comment that out. There we go. And I think we can now build, and we will be safe. Right? Nope, we got some failures here. Oh, system animation. Okay, so we're just kind of undoing the issues I had already. Okay, so this is fine. So system animations, propel spinning. We have propellers. We have the powered on animation. Skids up animation. Okay, so I'm going to want to save this. I'm going to copy this because I'm going to end up revisiting it anyways. But just to get things working, we're going to do this, right? So we're going to have the flying darter, flying carrier, and then flying hauler. Same thing for the ground here. Paste, paste. All right, so hauler, carrier, ground. Whoops, not ground, darter. Again, sea machines. This or this or this. What I'm basically doing when I do this is I'm just adding all the variants, because it's no longer just a sea machine. Now it has a specific chassis type on top of the movement type. So we got the darter, we got the carrier, and of course we got the hauler. For the hauler, I'm going to delete because that doesn't exist anymore in this context. All right, and here we are going to have to change, because I changed the config options, so these were the variables with it. Awesome. I believe this is what it is now. This is the format right here. So I'm going to do a copy, paste, 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 and paste. I can get rid of the max burn times here. This should fix this problem. See, this is why I take time when I put in variables to try and make sure the names make sense. Because if you don't do that, like, this is the kind of stuff that you're going to run into, which is, you know, going to be a pain. So for this, I'll just put in flying hauler, flying darter, D-A-R-T-E-R. It's going to be a lot of annoyance, isn't it? This is my backup file, so everything that I'm changing doesn't even matter. This is just so it builds correctly. So I'm just putting in an enum that makes sense. This part, this is going to be player. I'll do this one correctly. Player durability. This will be the sea hauler. These errors, darter, sea, darter. These aren't being used anyways. C. There we go. Just to get rid of all the issues, let's rebuild. There we go, successful. We can at least get in the game now. All right, what we're going to be searching for, what we're going to look for is we're going to hop into the base machine, and we're going to see if... oh, we got some duplicates. That's fine. Now, we're gonna make sure that the GUI, the dialog box, can open. If it can open, we're good. If it can't open, we're going to have to revisit and see what exactly went wrong. Hopefully nothing. Hopefully we can right-click on it, and it'll be a big empty box. It should say something like machine type or whatever up top. So, right, I'm in it, I own it. Should be able to access it from here. We got a very basic GUI here. Couple boxes, which is fine. These boxes are probably inherited from the, where is it? One of these, the temporal infuser. I gotta get closer. Oh, I don't think, yeah, there we go. So yeah, it's similar to this, which is fine. That means that at least it's opening with the new way of doing the dialog box. Now what we're going to have to do is we pretty much have to rebuild this, right? We got to make it longer. We got to make it bigger. We got to size it correctly. A lot of things to do. Best part is, as we make changes, we may not necessarily have to do anything with the game. I'd be able to just do this and then open it back up again, right-click on the machine. And yeah, it should propagate any changes through. So we're going to move that to the other window. We are going to close out all of this stuff that we don't need up anymore. Just like that. Get rid of mountable. The only thing we want to look at is the GUI dialog machine class file. We are going to start at the top here. So I have the dialog main width and height. So we're going to have to make sure both of those variables are put in for the sizing of our box. So we're going to create a composer, right? This composer has the dialog bounds. If we come up to dialog bounds, this is an auto-sized main dialog, which I don't think we're going to want to use. You know what we can do? Right middle, left middle. Why don't we just align this in the right middle? Just like that. Save, we're gonna fireball it in. Come over here. So it wants to put it over there now. So it seems like the sizing here, the area sizing is not quite right. And it's something that looks like it's following the, when you full screen it, it's putting it right in there. So instead of right middle, right, I think we could do just something with like center middle. There we go, center middle. Right, so there we go. That's kind of what we're looking for. I want it to be completely centered. Now let's make the width and the height. Let's make sure our numbers are still correct. This right here is why we spent time making this, because again, it is pixel perfect. So starting right at the one corner, going right over to the other corner, 564. So I ended up expanding this. Same with this, right? Coming right down and over. So if I do this, our new numbers are going to be 564 and 269. Which means right up top here. So this will be 564. And then this will be 269. Are our exact measurements. Now we're going to want to use these in creating our GUI box size. So it's going to be this variable, right? I'm going to refer to, in my old method, how I'm doing it. I think it's going to work the same. And we won't have to like reinvent the wheel with this. Yeah, see, with alignment, with fixed center offset. This right here is what we're going to want to use for the dialog box. Yep. So I'm going to copy this. I'm going to scroll back to the top, the tippy top. This can go right here. We're going to save, fireball it in. Where's the game? There it is. Refresh. Oh. It was not happy. What was the error that put us over the top? Composing. Game textures, lantern. Interesting. I don't see any real issue. Oh, I wonder if it's because I changed maybe something like this. You know what? I honestly have no idea. We're going to try and open it back up, rebuild, and then run it again. Song of Ruth. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. We're going to rebuild. It's successful. So we'll try it again. If it crashes again, we'll undo what we just did, and then I will try to... I should probably get rid of my other mods as I'm pulling up the game. So when you're modding, if you have any mods in your mod folder, because it's running it off the game itself, like it's kind of piggybacking off of it, and you're a mod developer, like right now I have Vice Blocks, Rust Stones, and Eldritch Monsters mods, so it's kind of loading it twice. Yeah, so that's our problem here. It is indeed with this. So I'm going to copy this. We are going to undo that. I'm going to paste this. Recently started playing VS again and have seen your name on some mods. Yep, I have, I think, 4 mods now. Yep, I'm kind of in there. Just worm my way, right? Yeah, I came back a little bit ago. I keep coming back to the game. You know, this 1.18 update, the world gen, like all the stuff that Tyron's adding to it. It's awesome. How could I stay away, right? You know, it looks like... So it looks like some things are similar, right? Like I have this part. The fixed size seems to be the problem. What I'm going to try to do is get rid of this. I wonder if it's the fixed size or the auto sized. Let's try and call fixed sized from here. I've been a software engineer for 40 years. Occasionally think about modding for the games I play. Yeah, modding, I love it. It's fun. Like anything I can imagine, you know, I can just put into the game. But that's really like my Vice Blocks mod. It's just like blocks and stuff that I would like to see in the game, or maybe different, right? It's wonderful. I would suggest it. I was actually thinking this morning that I'm getting people, because I as I live stream here, I also do it on YouTube, right? Got a little YouTube channel that I'm kind of starting to do things with, but my past streams are on YouTube, so if people miss it here, they can just catch it on YouTube. I was thinking about doing like a 1.18 kind of modding tutorial, you know, like a series of videos to show you like how to make an item, how to make a block, how to make a GUI, you know, how to, you know what I mean? Like kind of set up your environment. I've been thinking about that. I chances are I will probably do it. But yeah. So it's probably coming. Probably coming. I think I know why it crashed. Because for this element bounds here, I bet it has to do with the fixed size. Not necessarily the padding. We're gonna do some tests here. I am going to get rid of the old method here. We're going to go on with this new one. I'm going to stop the game because it has already crashed. We're going to bring this back in, right? Get everything working again. I'm going to get rid of this. I am also going to look to see what other methods we can have here. So I'm going to look at, so right now, auto-sized main dialog. I want to statically put my own variables in here. I don't want anything auto-sized. Looks like some of the stuff, some of these variables are only getters, so I'm not going to be able to just do any. Here we go. Wait, no, that's fixed margin, fixed height. But this isn't really the place to do that. Fixed offset with padding. We got the inner width and inner height. Actually, I kind of like this a little better. There's the inner, then there's the outer height, outer width. I kind of like that. Before, like, you just had, like, the blank canvas, and you had to try and make your own margin, you know, so things weren't right on the end. That's pretty cool. I like that. Let's look for anything that is fixed. So we got fixed height, fixed width, fixed X. with fixed size is probably what we're going to want. This would be DLG main height first, I believe. Wait, is it taking width and height or height? Okay, width and height first. So DLG main width, comma, main height. Let's see if this fixes our little problem. Let's rebuild. Yeah, myself, Song of Ruth, I work in network infrastructure. So, you know, the coding that I do on stream is a little different than the coding that I do, through like switch interface, CLI, things like that. But still, it's fun. You know, we do some automation stuff, but I don't like the automation stuff when it comes to like, switch updates, and I feel like that's a problem waiting to happen. Okay, so we got it back, right? It looks like it's centered. It is not using our fixed variables here. So auto size main dialog probably is not what we want. Maybe something like dialog background. Let's look for anything that's main, right? Main dialog, auto size main dialog. So quick method to create a new element bounds instance that is positioned at the screen center and sized according to fit all of its child elements. That's what it is right there. Okay, so I'm going to be forced to... Actually, I think I like this more. So I can size each individual box, and then I can put all my elements, like the fuel, the locking system, the power on off button, and as I separate things out, it's just going to automatically resize my box for me. I no longer have to do like a pixel perfect way. Oh, fuck yeah. We're going to give it a try. Hell yeah. What I do want to do, though, is copy this part here. I do need to do a fixed alignment offset for my dialog box. So we're going to fireball this in. There we go. And see, all it did is just bump it up because, remember, I'm going to have two dialog boxes. I'm going to have, and this is our little reference point here. Where is it? I think it's another image. Hold on. It's this right here. So it's going to have to go a little higher because we're going to have the inventory box system underneath. It's not going to be this many inventory slots. It's going to be half of this, but, I'm mostly desktop apps. I programmed in C back when there were no decorations on it. Yeah, back when it was Unit, not Linux, which means my C++ looked like C, my C# rather like C++. Our UI is WPF, mostly by single person. I do all the other things, and as a good programmer does. Every programmer is multifunctional, cross-functional team in a single person. Yeah, you know it, yeah. I myself, like, I do the switching, so that also means I have to do like all the subnet routing, keep everything straight, DHCP, all the reservations, blah blah blah, all that simple stuff. We also deploy VoIP systems, so again, right, that's setting up the VLANs, making sure that IGMP, spanning tree, like all the important things are running, that the phone system itself is set up correctly with 911 and everything. I deal with all the wireless. So, again, spanning tree, getting things to kind of, APs to function correctly, broadcasting SSIDs, It's fun. It is a fun job. A lot of documentation. I'm very much of the mindset where, like, if other people know how to do it, then ultimately you would think that would mean less work for me. Like, I can branch off and look at other things. But yeah, so the first GUI we're going to be making is actually this one right here. I'm going to make the full GUI with the extra storage boxes using the inventory. And then what we're going to do once we get this taken care of is I'm going to create the second inventory box underneath it right here, and we're going to populate it with a bunch of items as well. Then we'll do tests. I will put items inside of the machines. We will shut down the game, bring it back up. I'll fly away, make sure that everything is saved and reloaded properly. And that's how we're going to systematically do this. My typing is degraded. And testing and documenting user communication. Like the look of that. Yeah, right? Hey, new subscriber using that Prime. Thank you, Song of Ruth. It's awesome that you did that because like maybe 2-3 days ago, I just got new emotes. So it took like a month for those emotes to come in, but they're here. They are here. Yeah, you should totally get into modding. Like I encourage everyone that stops in, like there's a lot of good information out there, and I honestly don't mind like answering questions. Like I won't write out a mod for you, but really, like writing a mod's all about the flow of logic. What the game can and can't do. I'm a lazy coder. Like if something's already made in the game, like a method, I would rather use that than come up with my own. But there are times when you got to come up with your own. So. This alignment, I think I'm going to bump it up a little higher. I kind of want it right at the top. Whoops, didn't mean to sit in the back seat. That's way too high. There we go. See, I want it aligned right there. But yeah, this is the kind of stuff. My mod's for 1.17 as it is. So this is one of my old hauler machines. Basically, like the items that you kind of put in there, right? Like kind of show up in the back. I like that functionality. This was my ground, so it's like the hover machine. But what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to basics. Like you'll have your basic machine, and then depending on what you socket into it, it will then transform into a flying machine, a ground machine, a sea machine, like a boat. Little lanterns on the front. This is actually from Primitive Survival, so. so that's what we're kind of working on. Since I'm rebuilding all this, yeah. I guess let's start with this. We should put in the first section, which is going to be, according to our little cheat sheet here, it's going to be the info, and then we're going to create another box underneath it. This box is actually going to be here for the, I don't know what to call it, the assembly kit, the circuit module, I don't know what. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Of course, rolling your own is almost never the best first choice. Yeah. I like the Primitive Survival mod. Yeah, I do too. And now they're lanterns you can put in the light source if I do time set night. It actually, like the light source, it lights up around your machines. So you can kind of fly around or travel in darkness by putting a lantern on the front. And it's just an item slot, right? You put the item in the item slot, light comes up depending on, the light level is dependent on what you put in the slot. It's not a static thing, so it just pulls whatever the item or block's light level is. And you can accessorize too. Like we have, we're going to have to update a lot of systems, but something like the... change out the horses and all right, let's go. I'm procrastinating now. I have not been looking forward to this. This is the biggest hurdle in doing this rewrite because the GUI is so complex. So okay, I'm gonna just rip off the band-aid and I'm gonna do it. Let's come down to compose GUIs. This was my main GUI. Nope, actually this compose GUI main. This was my main GUI. What we are going to do now is start copying the important things we need from here. So ability slots, fuel. I was nice enough to break things up. So we have the info box. So I'm going to want this. We're going to have the options. I have 2 storage crates, which is interesting that I only have 2 storage crates. Info, options, insert fuel, power on and off. We're actually going to copy all of this. I'm going to bring it up to the top. It's going to be unhappy with this blind copy paste just because of the parameters here. Now I'm going to have to copy those. So let's go back down to minimize some of the stuff we're not using. Like this, this. This is what we need. So if I copied this, think I need that. I need the Y as well, the padding. I'm going to put all this here. Y position. Double Y position equals. So I already have this defined up here, right? Yeah, Y position equals this plus the padding. I'm getting the padding. So yeah, that's fine. We can get rid of that. Small font. I will leave that. I think I will be using that. Be right back. All right, I'll be here. I will be here. This isn't that bad to do. All right, insert fuel, power on and off. These are hovering text. I'm gonna try and not have hovering text. I want this to be intuitive, so I don't have to go through and have all this hovering paragraph text bullcrap. Maybe I'll do it for like durability, just because you hover over and it's kind of important to know that, you know, your durability is kind of like your health. This is why it goes down, you know, whatever the information may be. All right, so I should be able to fireball this in. Boop, there we go. So it has the old boxes. I could probably just get rid of those old boxes. They are right here. Boop. I do have a section for output text. I don't need that either. So we're going to comment that out. All of this extra text as well, that's about my rust stones. I'm going to just delete those. We're going to hot reload. And boop, there we go. Looking more like how it was originally. Now we're going to have to customize this. So for our info section, as you can see, we're going to want to make sure durability is up there with the percent equation. And then this is going to be a bar that actually ticks down. Weird, I'm not getting audio from your channel. I can get audio from the other channels. Weird. I see my audio kind of bouncing around. You know, I guess I could restart the stream fast if no one else is hearing me.